I adore it when Ariana pops up in the comments. Just witnessed her response telling someone to go back to Facebook Marketplace, and I couldn't help but chuckle. If someone dishes out hate, they should brace for a comeback. It may not be as savage as choke on a raw hot dog, you cretin, but I'll gladly take it. I've adopted Katie's "it's called growth" pearl as a regular phrase in my conversations. My roommate, clueless about VPR, finds it hilarious. Katie and Ariana engaging in comments isn't the shade Lala perceives. It's a delightful surprise. Regarding Katie, I can't fathom how anyone could label her as bitter and jealous. Those roles are currently being contested fiercely by Scheana and Lala. It's a tight race for the title. Just watch the video out of curiosity, and it's the epitome of a tame Fox Vogue 73 question segment. It's meticulously scripted, and she exudes charm throughout. Seriously, people need to get a grip. She's being far nicer than they deserve. While I commend Ariana and Katie for standing up to the comment bullies, I question the wisdom of engaging with them. They're seeking reactions, and by interacting, they're getting precisely what they want. Personally, I wouldn't dignify these oddballs with a second thought. Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel once again, Spill Chronicles. It's me, Ramona, here. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Keep watching, so let's dive into today's video. However, Tim's hair from season 5 is absolutely driving me crazy. Easily the most disastrous look in the show's entire history. It's reminiscent of a school photo of an oblivious child. Remember when they had someone come in to braid both their hair for an event? It's hilarious how this is the season where he starts complaining about not having enough sex with Ariana. If she ever did something as atrocious to her hair, he'd never let her live it down. He's walking around with hair that screams early 2000s frosted tips gone wrong. It's probably because people told him he resembles Davey Havoc, and he decided to lean into it, right? There are photos of Davey sporting those exact extensions. I'm pretty sure they're extensions, and an even more extreme version of the emo Karen look. Davey has his share of issues, but he'll never be as bad as Sandoval. Tom's hair in this season takes the crown for the worst VPR hairstyle, closely followed by Schwartz's bleach blonde look. Then come Ariana and Tom's absurd braids, followed by Katie's orange hair. Moreover, who was most impacted by Sandoval's actions? The only other fitting response to her query would be us, the audience, for enduring that spectacle. Scheana and Lala have undeniably thrust themselves into the midst of this chaos. After all, they have mouths to feed. So they deserve mention on the roster as well. I'm not typically one for forum nicknames, but I'll take this opportunity to highlight Sheener whiners in Lisa's distinctive pronunciation of Scheana and blah blah Utah Shacker. It's ironic because this actually greatly benefited them both. They soared to become the hottest reality TV stars for an entire year, landed more lucrative brand deals, and even launched podcasts that rake in money, and so forth. None of this would have unfolded on such a grand scale with such lucrative opportunities had it not been for the scandal. So perhaps take a seat and appreciate the fortune you've amassed from others' misfortune. Relax and enjoy the wealth. At this stage, it's simply greed if you're clamoring for more. You weren't directly implicated in the scandal, yet you feel entitled to the same level of fame and fortune. Quite amusing, isn't it? On the other hand, Ryan Revel, the executive producer of The Valley, also happens to manage both Toms. Naturally, they'll find themselves on The Valley. One of the executive producers stands to gain financially from their increased exposure. That's why there was a redemption arc for Tom, and why Schwartz never faced repercussions for his treatment of Katie. It's also why Scheana and Lala align with Tom. They aim to secure their positions on The Valley. Tom's manager holds a significant role on the new Bravo show that's captivated audiences. With Lala and Scheana risk their spots on The Valley by siding with Ariana or Katie. These behind-the-scenes maneuvers contribute to the contrived and inauthentic feel of everything for the audience. I'm exhausted by this. Season 11 revolves around office politics. I already have a job. Entertain me or step aside. Scenes dissecting Ariana's behavior alongside explosive confrontations offer a gripping narrative. Scheana and Lala could have joined her journey, but they opted to showcase their shallowness. Well done. The Joseph or Billie or Victoria drama intrigues me because it's dark VPR drama with relatively low stakes. The only thing lacking is professional editing. Kudos to the producers who tirelessly tried to make sense of Joe's thoughts after Rachel Rocky's departure, and now possibly with Victoria. They're adept at making Scheana look foolish without balance. Why do the Toms receive preferential treatment? Is it because they're baby men? It sounds like a toxic work environment, and frankly, I'm not interested. Sorry for the rant, but I mourn the loss of my show. Frustrated indeed. This lack of accountability persists because our thirst for entertainment outweighs our recognition of the media's normalization of misogyny. Personally, I need some form of accountability. However, this has become too dark for me. So Baskin owns the production company that credited the Toms manager as an executive producer? This underscores the problem with producers becoming overly involved with the cast over a decade. Bias clouds their judgment. If it's anything like musicians and their managers, they probably socialize together. Does this guy also manage Jax? I recall hearing on a podcast that one of Jax's team members was an executive producer on The Valley. Could it be him? Let me clarify as someone with a talent manager. Managers often receive producer credits on projects for their clients. If they play a role in assembling the package, it's customary. It doesn't imply they're actively involved in day-to-day production. While it may seem like a conflict of interest, it's simply part of the managerial business they produce. However, I made the mistake of following Tim's girlfriend out of curiosity, and I regret it instantly. Honestly, this reinforces my belief in Billie's perspective. Only toxic individuals adopt an us-against-the-world mentality. Such a mindset is only warranted when engaging in behaviors that would alienate a couple from healthy relationships, in my opinion. This feels like a throwback to being 15. My boyfriend and I had a big fight at the homecoming dance, and I cried to my friends all night, but then posted a happy picture the next morning for everyone to see. I get this eerie feeling that she's fully moved into Tom and Ariana's house while they're away, and that's unsettling for some reason. There's a negative energy surrounding her. Tom previously went on about how she has her own house and career and has everything together. So why is she residing in Tom and Ariana's home? I've raised this question before. Anyone have an answer? For the first time, I understand why Leo probably ended things with her. One thing that's indisputable about Leo is his aversion to messiness. He maintains his image as an older guy who pursues much younger women by investing heavily in keeping his relationships discreet. Someone eager enough to date Tom Sandoval definitely doesn't fit into Leo's plans at all. This guy certainly seems to have a pattern of being drawn to women facing mental health challenges. Think about Kristen, Rachel, Victoria. It appears that in most of his relationships, he enters the picture when they're vulnerable, and once they grow weary of his behavior, he cheats on them, causing a dramatic upheaval, only to repeat the cycle again. Additionally, watching Katie in that scene with Kevin Lee, I was struck by how beautiful she was during that time period. Her long hair and vibrant personality, as she mingled with the guests, were truly captivating. It's baffling why someone would feel the need to comment on her weight when she already looked so slender at that party, and the emotional fallout from the skylight incident had me in tears. The entire scene with Kevin Lee should have been omitted. It's distressing that they left her feeling so humiliated by that despicable man. Lisa demanding an apology from him was a rare moment of her standing up for a woman. Upon rewatching that episode, it's clear he should have been ashamed of himself. I appreciate that they aired it because it serves as a reminder of Katie's near-death experience, her arduous recovery, and how profoundly it has impacted her. It's inspiring to hear her speak about her newfound appreciation for life and the journey she's undergone to accept herself post-accident. The way Katie was treated by Lauren and James, commenting on her weight the previous season, and then by Kevin Lee, was utterly reprehensible. I'm relieved he faded into obscurity, and that, for once, LVP had Katie's back. And then James had the audacity to make similar remarks, only to face backlash when Katie rightfully held him accountable. She's shown incredible resilience. I'm not sure I would have stayed on the show after enduring all that. Moreover, did Worm really splurge on a Bentley while still owing his mom money? I'm watching the Secrets Revealed episode, and Tom is cruising in this car. I assume it's a rental, but given his track record of questionable decisions, I wouldn't put it past him. I wonder how his mom feels about it. According to Billie, he's not just broke, he's flat out broke. And on top of that, he's missing out on lucrative brand opportunities. It's like a scandal waiting to unfold if he's been dipping into S&S funds. Poor Schwartzy really picked the wrong partner. He couldn't even manage to show up on time for Nick Viall's podcast. He's so consumed by his delusions of grandeur that he thinks he's too important to bother with punctuality. What a loser. First, it was a Rolls, wasn't it? Now, a Bentley. No wonder he's either broke or heading in that direction. Even I, who may occasionally spend like I'm loaded, wouldn't indulge in such wasteful foolishness. I'm pretty certain that's a Rolls-Royce Wraith. But what's the context? Where was he off to? I haven't seen the Secrets Revealed episode yet. While it might be going over some people's heads, it could actually be a rather clever nod to DJ JK's iconic line, "I just got rich, I might cop a black Wraith. Does everybody remember when Jax fucked Faith?" On the other hand, why does most of this cast struggle so much with reading the room? It's almost comical to witness the Sandoval or Billie Lee or Kyle Chan or Victoria group, along with Scheana or Lala, desperately trying to secure their spots for the next season, or even a spot on the cast if they're not already, and completely misjudging the audience's sentiments. Meanwhile, Katie and Ariana are thriving, with more interest in their sandwich shop than anything the others are doing. Scheana and Lala need to pump the brakes. No amount of podcast interviews will change anyone's perception at this point. They come off as incredibly desperate and still fail to provide anything remotely interesting. It's like they're still revolving their drama around Ariana, inadvertently giving her even more control over the show's fate. And the Sandoval drama, I can't even. All those individuals are opportunistic and unlikable. There are no winners in that mess. Props to Schwartz for mostly shutting down Jo by simply ignoring her craziness while maintaining a relatively low profile. Who would have thought he'd make some of the best decisions out of the cast? They're stuck in an echo chamber of hangers on who either inflate their egos or are paid to do so. They're aware of negative press, but if they don't actively seek it out, they remain oblivious to how disliked they are by a significant portion of the public. They rationalize their behavior as part of their job to stir up drama, knowing that some people will like them and some won't. And let's not forget they're getting paid for it. Andy Cohen and production likely played a role in inflating their egos, dubbing them voices of reason and such. They probably didn't anticipate the public's genuine support for a woman like Ariana. As for Schwartz, his decisions aren't necessarily good, just less egregiously bad than some others. If we knew the full extent of his actions, he'd be viewed similarly to Jax and Worm. He plays into his little boy, aw shucks image in his 40s, and production allows it. Frankly, we're part of the problem too. We listen to their podcasts, boosting their ad revenues, and follow them on Instagram, endorsing their influencer status. If we collectively shifted our attention elsewhere, it would undoubtedly sting. It seems Sandoval might already be off traders, thank goodness. My only consolation is that this chaos likely delays the return of VPR, especially considering the legal ramifications of the drugs Tim Vicky Billie Lee Kyle situation. In the meantime, we have, disrespectfully, many Oscar-winning actresses to visit Sasa, the court TV drama of the VPR cases, The Valley, and more. This hiatus is a blessing. Honestly, I think it boils down to a combination of factors: their self-absorption, fame hunger, and lack of perceptiveness. They're not the most insightful individuals and are more concerned with themselves than anything else. While they may not be inherently evil, they lack the foresight to develop their public images in a sustainable manner, such as Scheana or Lala eating humble pie on their podcast to regain public favor. However, did we ever discuss Joe and Schwartz swigging Olive Garden salad dressing straight from the bottle in the Secrets Revealed episode? I audibly gasped when I saw it. They're like the kids in elementary school who thrive on dares for minimal rewards. Her mimicking him was the epitome of a not like other girls move. It's like she wanted to say, "Oh my gosh, we're so similar. We both chug salad dressing. No one else gets us." I was baffled. I didn't realize people chugged salad dressing like beer. Schwartz looked like he'd done it before. I think Joe just did it to go along with him, but I'm still perplexed. Is this a regular occurrence? Between Joe and Schwartz on VPR, Amanda chugging ranch on Summer House, and Paris on Below Deck eating mayonnaise by itself, I've been left wondering what's going on at Bravo. Just imagine, for a brief moment in a safe space, the idea of these two repulsive individuals living together, having physical intimacy, with him shoving raw steak up his ass while she stuffs endless breadsticks in her lady parts. I can actually envision their physical intimacy life being exactly as described, especially when Schwartz described it as passionate. I can picture her slurping dressing out of his hairy belly button, then using their dirty feet to play with each other's nipples. I'd also believe Katie was the dominant one, tying him down, spanking, and pegging him. Remember how they all joked about Katie being the freak in the group, and Schwartz never really discussed their physical intimacy life. It always struck me as odd since the other guys were so vocal about theirs, and perhaps Katie put up with his humiliation for so long because she knew she'd have her chance for payback later. Additionally, why did the Secrets Revealed episode manage to capture more connection and fun times in one episode than the entire series combined? I sincerely hope that if there's a next season, it'll take a cue from that episode and be way less serious, please. Unfortunately, it's unlikely because of Lala and Scheana, who seem incapable of just having a good time without their extreme jealousy overshadowing everything. However, scenes featuring Katie, Ariana, and James together would undoubtedly be iconic. It's possible that the Secrets Revealed episode showcased recorded parts from before everything started going downhill. I've noticed that the season tends to start off strong, but then takes a nosedive afterward, particularly with most of the cast members. Moreover, who has had the most significant impact as a character in the series? It's a tough call, but I'd have to say Jax or Kristen. Jax brought pure chaos to the show. Kristen served as the agent of chaos, and Stassi played the role of the executioner. Kristen, in particular, stands out when it comes to relationships and friendships. She introduced many of the cast members to each other, was roommates with several, and even played matchmaker for some couples. Stassi also holds a strong case, especially considering her past influence. Her involvement in exposing the Jax rumor led to the infamous slap and the subsequent fallout from the truth about Jax and Kristen's affair. Moreover, many cast members have used her as a scapegoat to deflect their own bad behavior. Even Katie, often portrayed as a follower, has driven numerous storylines throughout the series. She's been involved in conflicts, defended her friends fiercely, and brought important truths to light. Love her or hate her, she's been an essential part of the cast. If we're solely considering on-screen moments, Stassi stands out. She embodied a perfect mix of characteristics: mean, entertaining, funny, obnoxious, lucid, and self-aware. Her ability to dissect the entire cast in one confessional remains memorable, as she was often spot-on in her assessments. While opinions on the other cast members have varied over the seasons, Stassi was consistently a character many found themselves rooting for. Drop your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you agree or disagree? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more updates. Your opinions matter, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you.